Unfortunately, my friends, all good things must come to an end. And after 1,652 consecutive login days in Rise of Kingdoms, I mean, look, we've had a good run. It's been really great, and it's been my true honor to serve you as a content creator. But the time has come for me to share with you this really important message about the future of the channel, which is very simply that I am absolutely not going to quit Rise of Kingdoms. Holy shit, do you think I was going to do that? No shot, bro. I still love this game. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and OmniArc delivered the most savage April Fool's I'm quitting Rise of Kingdoms video. I just was completely caught off guard. I should have been expecting it. So I got to give a big shout out to OmniArc for the inspiration for this video. But I did really want to make an update video answering those questions I put into the start. And you all have been thinking it. Where the heck is the Rise of Kingdoms content? Are you quitting Rise of Kingdoms? And what the heck's going on with all this Call of Dragon stuff? Because you may or may not have actually signed up to play that game. And so I just want to go through all of that and start by saying thank you for your support. I deeply appreciate every single one of you every time you check out one of my videos, or you throw a like on one of my videos, or even just leave a comment. Thank you. So let's do this. First of all, where's the Rise of Kingdoms content? And I gotta say, something that's really been making it very difficult for me to produce as much content for Rise of Kingdoms as I would like is I just have a very serious case of MNF, that's Match Not Found. I queued up for the brand new Warriors Unbound format as a Pioneer player, and I didn't get matched, which means not only am I delayed by 2 weeks at best for playing KVK again, but also I didn't get to show you this as a Pioneer. And then we queued up for Siege of Orleans as a Pioneer to be able to show this as the very first ones going to check it out, and we got Match Not Found again, despite the fact that we as a kingdom went in and lined up with a bunch of other equally, I'll say equivalently sized kingdoms. These are big imperiums, some of the biggest kingdoms in the game, to try to match up against us in 1254, and we got Match Not Found. Now, I don't want to make this a video about Match Not Found, but I do want to point out a couple things. First of all, every time we get Match Not Found in a kingdom like 1254, that is a really expensive either decision or mistake, because when you look at the rankings here, we have the strongest player by power in our kingdom, that's Justin, and he's just chilling, not playing KVKs, which is insane. And also you've got some just really high power players. I mean, I want to say we have 300, 400, 500 people maybe that actually go and max tech, and you know, a lot of those people do it as fast as possible. So it's just a really expensive decision to not put us into KVK. Not only am I not able to show KVK on my main account, which is crazy, but then also the number of bundles that are not purchased for Crystal Tech and Speed Up and Resources is actually really insane. Like, they should probably just always throw us into KVK when we queue, as long as there is a good match, and we aren't going to queue unless there's a good match, bro. So this is just really a head scratcher for me. Literally, I was just scratching my head. I don't want to go more in depth into this now, but I simply want to point out that MNF, Match Not Found, is definitely giving me a hard time from a content creation standpoint. The other thing that's a little bit of a head scratcher for me is that I really want to do testing videos for double relics on a bunch of these commanders, but the sources of the relic currency is drying up, and the need for relic currency is going up. I covered this in depth in another video, where hopefully I made the point clearly that you should be hoarding your relic currency for Alexander the Great, Tamaris, Saladin, Guan Yu, Leonidas. I'm pretty sure Artemisia sometime soon is getting... I mean, it's just like, they're going to go to Generation 2 and Generation 3 commanders, and those are going to be really important again. I'll have a lot of testing to do, but if you're actually going to double relic some of these other commanders and would be willing to do a lot of testing and record all of that to put it into a video, definitely let me know, because I would be very interested in having that for example, Ragnar or Charles Martel or Julius Caesar. I feel like those would be some really interesting videos that I want to be able to make, but I'm hesitant to go and do on any of my accounts because We know that there are more commanders on their way, and they're going to require a lot of this relic currency, assuming, by the way, they don't even raise the amount of relic currency it will take. I assume they won't, but they could. So that's why I'm hoarding my relic currency. So even though there is this really good topic that we could be making videos about, I could use a little help actually getting to the sort of footage if you're interested in doing that. And only do that, by the way, if you would do it for your account. And I don't know that anybody should double relic Hannibal Barca for their account. So it's a bit of a weird conundrum there with regard to testing the new double relics. So this leaves us at, okay, so what is left for content? I mean, when they have news drops, that's something that I definitely will cover as soon as it freaking happens for Rise of Kingdoms. I'm still planning to be all over that baby. But that basically just leaves some of the spending events, right? Like I used to stream a bunch of spending events, and slowly the spending event streams have not only been less and less viewed, but also there's just not as much need for them even on my account, right? Like as much as I want materials, for some silly reason, this event still has building speeds, research speeds, and epic patterns that nobody in the end game actually needs anymore. And so I say it's a silly reason because I would spend on this event. You might watch this event if the things that were in here were actually relevant to account progression in the end game. And, you know, obviously the materials are, but the other things are not. So even the spenders events in the game, I find myself having less and less need to cover. And I've been still trying desperately to be, you know, pretty entertaining. I mean, I feel like my crafting is still pretty entertaining, but, you know, those streams get an average amount of views these days. Nothing like you used to get when you crafted a legendary. And I'm running out of gear to crit, man. I'm almost done with my seventh crit set of legendary equipment. So, yeah, I don't know how much more I'm going to be doing crafting sessions on my main account because there's just not all that much more to go and craft outside of some really expensive crits on accessories, which, yeah, I mean, I'll go for it. But, you know, for every time I try to refine an accessory, I could have done like 3 refines for, you know, some more moderate piece of equipment, which is, you know, more entertainment. So all that to say, in some ways, you know, the sources of my being able to easily create Rise of Kingdoms content is drying up. Now, I have a few ideas for things that are harder to execute, and I'm definitely going to be working on that. But I'm mentioning all of this just to give you a little context around where is the Rise of Kingdoms content. Don't you worry, it's coming. I got ideas. But there was a bit of a, not hiatus, but a slight pause because I was doing all this Call of Dragons stuff. And I really wanted to make a video addressing why are you doing all this Call of Dragons stuff, bro? And I want to start up front by saying I recognize that some of you are here are just for Rise of Kingdoms and you're ride or die. Like Baba is like ride or die Rise of Kingdoms, man. And I appreciate you. Thank you for your patience and support while I make videos on my main channel about Call of Dragons. It means a lot to me every time you watch, like, comment, and tune in for another video, whether it's Rise of Kingdoms or Call of Dragons. Thank you. So why am I covering Call of Dragons on the main channel? Well, let me start by saying it's really fun. And it's awfully similar to Rise of Kingdoms. I mean, the same people who tune in for a speed-up session in Rise of Kingdoms are enjoying the speed-up sessions I'm doing in Call of Dragons. The same people who tune in for just, like, crazy gemming, okay, are tuning in and enjoying crazy gemming sessions in Call of Dragons. I literally gemmed a VIP 14 like an absolute mad lad. I spent 300,000 gems. It was insane. Debatable as to whether or not I should have done that. Kind of depends on a number of variables, which I can cover in a different video. But the point is that the people who are enjoying Rise of Kingdoms, some anyways, are really enjoying that Call of Dragons content because it's, I mean, literally the same people who made the game, and there's so many similarities between the two. But the other reason, and I just want to be really honest about this, is that I create content full time. This is how I provide for my family, and I feel very blessed that this is working for me. And I work really hard to make that work. But I mention this because from a business standpoint, I mean, as someone who is doing this not only to have fun and be entertaining and provide for you all like some really cool stuff to watch, but also like, hey, that is how I provide for my family, right? So it is really risky, the fact that I have tied up my ability to provide for my family into a single game. Okay, it's super risky. If for some reason something big happens in Rise of Kingdoms that players really don't like, for example, big events have been like Crystal Technology. That was a big moment where things, could have gone a different way for the game, right? Or you look at armaments. This is a big moment for Rise of Kingdoms. Players will continue on or they won't continue on. Those sorts of moments are actually kind of scary for me as a content creator because you don't know what's going to happen. Is this the end of the game? Well, who knows? It hasn't been yet, and I doubt it will be anytime soon in the future. But to cover one game, for me, is actually just really risky, right? And I have to think not only about myself, but also the fact, again, that I am providing for my family. So the safer, smarter business decision is to diversify my portfolio. It's the same reason, and this is not investing advice, I'm not a financial advisor, but it's the same reason why a financial advisor might tell you that a diversified retirement portfolio is a good idea. Now, bro, you're talking about retirement portfolios. What a madman. Let's bring it back to Rise of Kingdoms and my channel. By covering multiple games, I'm essentially de-risking the chance that either one of them ultimately fails. And because they're so similar, and because so many people are already enjoying content for both games, it makes a lot of sense to cover this on my main channel as opposed to my second channel, which is something that I've done in the past for games that are similar genre, but not quite close enough. For example, Lord of the Rings Rise to War, covered that on the second channel. War and Order, Infinite Galaxy, Puzzles and Survival. They're all city builders, but I covered them on the second channel because I just felt like the niche topics would be interesting to some people, but not necessarily to everyone. And I get that that's the case with Call of Dragons. And in the past, when I covered, for example, World War II on the main channel, that was a different enough game that in hindsight, I can see how, covering that on a second channel might have simply made more sense. But Call of Dragons and Rise of Kingdoms are so similar that I think covering them on the same channel has made a lot of sense and is something I will continue to do. Now, that said, I do aspire to still put out one Rise of Kingdoms video a day. But let me tell you, it has been really tricky managing my time with a new baby, covering Rise of Kingdoms content every day, and also covering Call of Dragons content every day. It is a lot to do, all right? So I appreciate your patience. I know that, a couple days this past week, I've just been grinding the heck out of Call of Dragons and streaming that. So don't you worry, more ROK stuff is coming. Shout out again to OmniArc for the crazy idea about the quitting video. I'm not quitting, but I did really want to make a channel update video. And I thought, people are asking me if I am quitting. Let's just freaking address it. So here we are. I'm not quitting Rise of Kingdoms. And you can look forward to some more Rise of Kingdoms content every single day. At least that's what I aspire to do. So with all that said, if you've got any crazy ideas for Rise of Kingdoms content, or maybe even some not so crazy ideas, definitely let me know down below in the comments. I am looking for that kind of stuff. And I do have some pretty sweet videos queued up, so consider subscribing if you haven't already for more Rise of Kingdoms videos. And if you're interested in just seeing what Call of Dragons is like, I'll have a card in the end screen from the live stream where we created our account and powered up a bunch. And if you want to see the video I made about powering up to T5 in a single day, card will be in the end screen for that as well. I genuinely wish I had rewatched that video. I know I made it myself, but I wish I had watched it again before I started powering up in Call of Dragons, because I realize now, like, holy cow, that's actually insanely helpful. And very, very eye-opening in terms of the amount of speed-ups and resources I'm going to need in Call of Dragons. Oh, God. It's kind of nuts. Check it out.